Where the fuck is William? Oh, hey! Hey guys! Welcome back to Res Cup! Yo, we're here doing stuff. The production didn't tell me the mic was on, but it looks like we're here now. Hello. Welcome to one of the the 3 matches that we currently have it for Team UTC. This is the losers bracket of the quarterfinals round of Codename Genesis Resurrection Cup 2026. My name is Guy McCreela, and joining me in the casting booth is the lovely Will Wham. I'm not too sure if he's here. Yep, Will Wham, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good here, and we've got a pretty interesting quotation marks match on our hands here. I mean, I think the thing that's interesting about this match is that both of these teams have just come out of a forfeit in their previous losers bracket match. So none of these teams have any information about the other team here, other than obviously previous rounds and qualifiers results. But even then, that's very limited information, and as the star rating starts to scale a bit, it's not gonna do much for those earlier rounds. I mean, on paper, right? You have balner seed 5 got upset last week, I think it was, going all the way to tiebreaker, and then you have Time to Say Hi, which is seed 23. So big seed difference on paper here, but I don't know. Do you want to tell us more about these teams individually?
I mean, I think it's rather interesting that, of course, it's rather interesting that balner is down here in the losers bracket all the way in quarterfinals, right? This is an incredibly stacked lineup of players, an incredibly stacked roster of players coming in with Fudge and Skilla, two of the best players in their respective countries, and then Shari Tori as well, if I'm not mistaken, being one of the imports into Poland. Is that right? Is that correct? Is Shari Tori evil grape? Shari Tori is my evil grape, right? This guy is my evil grape. Yes, he is my evil grape. Yes, Shari Tori, OWC champion. Yeah, you guys know the whole gist. And so balner is bringing a lot of name power to the table, right? And I think the fact that they are down here in the losers bracket is honestly rather intimidating for the team still in the losers bracket. Meanwhile, Time to Say Hi also fields their own host of strong players. Notably, you have Chipori being on this team, being part of the OWC South Korea roster. And that obviously has to speak for something in particular, right? He's coming off of a very hot and fiery 3WC performance. If I'm not mistaken, that tiebreaker actually came from Chipori in the semi-finals. So yeah, Chipori as well. I don't doubt their ability to, give us a good show to watch. And of course, this match's highest ranked player is also in the lobby. And Jakon is also on the side of Time to Say Hi. Jakon is a ranked number 12 player from South Korea. In fact, number 1 in South Korea's individual rankings. Not too known for his tournament ability, but definitely brings the heat in terms of raw mechanics, raw skill cap. So I am interested to see how they adapt to the tournament space. But that said, we are going to see the first bans coming in from both sides of the battlefield. Time to Say Hi is going to look to take out that No Mod 5, whereas balner looking to go for a hidden 2 ban here.
Quite interesting to see both teams opt for a gimmick ban here, isn't it? We have the No Mod 5 reading on the No Mod coming out from Time to Say Hi here. Meanwhile, balner going for that KT G-Ster awkward snap in hidden 2 here. I mean, I'm not too familiar with how these teams do on hidden and reading as a sort of skill set. I know both of them looked pretty weak on it in the qualifiers, but it is interesting to see both of them opt for a hidden ban, especially balner, to be honest. I think Time to Say Hi, maybe expected. They did not perform that good on hidden at all in the qualifiers, but balner opting for a hidden 2 strikes me as quite weird when you see stuff like like the no mod 1 consistency for them being all the way down at number 24. I mean, maybe it was just a bad run, but you know, it is surprising to see balner maybe not take out one of those easier, more accessible maps in this pool. I mean, that's what you want to do if you're the high-seeded team, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I mean, and at the same time, right? You're comparing the proficiency of balner on the two mods, Hidden and Hard Rock, and you notice that Hidden is the weaker of the two. So this Hidden 2 pick doesn't come as too big or too far out of left field, but again, as a higher seeded team, I definitely expect you to more or less play into these more inaccessible picks, especially considering that if you compare their qualifiers hit-to-hit performance on Hidden 2, you'll realize that balner was number 14, while Time to Say Hi was number 32nd. So yeah, I think this is a very interesting dynamic. Usually we see one team banning out like hard mechanics and one team banning out hard gimmick, but both teams this time around are banning in the exact same genre. So yeah, I think not a lot of information gonna be dished out in the ban phase here, but it looks like we're gonna be getting into our first pick. It's gonna be Time to Say Hi going into a No Mod 3.
It's No Mod 3 here. Pretty interesting pick to come out of Time to Say Hi as their first pick here. I mean, they did perform very well on the No Mod 3 in qualifiers, but I mean, this one is a little bit of a different beast. This No Mod 3 here is a custom by WeoWheat, and by that alone, you can kind of guess what this map is going to look like. I mean, it's WeoWheat's classic density sort of reading overlappy style that a lot of players are trying to get accustomed to in this modern age here. So I think it will be quite interesting to see how Time to Say Hi open up with this. I mean, I guess like this is something that they're looking to just push forward, right? It's the only thing that was really close in the qualifiers, and so you kind of just have to hope, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, when you are a lower seeded team, a lot of your early stage game plan is going to be trying to open up the map pool to give you as many options to play into as possible. This map is no exception. This is, of course, job application No Mod 3. Willem did a rather good job at explaining it, but at the end of the day, it's all going to be about these sharp angles. Ooh, yep. The hit sounds are extremely loud, but hopefully that should be sorted out very, very soon. And instantly, right from the get-go, this map instantly bears its fangs and you get to see what it's all about, right? All about these tight, these wide and unnaturally spaced angles, making sure that your flow is as uncomfortable as possible. First miss gonna come out from Arguil and Jakon, alongside the likes of... Oh, wait, hold up. So many things are happening on stream right now. So many misses are happening. And in fact, don't even talk about the misses. Let's talk about the only player holding, which is Skilla on the 300 combo, moving to the second quarter of the map, generating a 8TK score lead for balner.
Finally finds a break here, Scylla, but he has built up a pretty sizable combo for his team there. There's still all to play for. I mean, it's only 25k separating these teams, and it does look like Mouse Player and Jakon have stabilized for the side of Time to Say Hi. Meanwhile, balner just keeps finding miss after miss here, and it flips to the side of Time to Say Hi here. 75k in the tank and counting with just under half a map to go.
Yeah, but moving into the second half, as you mentioned before, and Jakon and Mouse Player are trying their best to bring that scoreline further and further towards the right side. Mouse Player is going to find the miss, followed by 8-15 as well. That's not quite what you want to see, as the scoreline is gonna slowly but surely shift into the hands of balner. Arguil finding that miss, it's going to give them some concessions here. And as Jakon continues to maintain that 600 combo, it looks like they might have just sealed the deal. They're not off the clear just yet, with Fudge and Skilla both staring daggers down at Jakon. It is still going to be in the realm of possibility, but once Skilla finds that miss, all vestiges of hope have been shut down. And with that, Jakon is going to escort his team to a first point, going to the side of Iris.
I mean, that's just a very strong showing there from Jakon. You can see why Iris, Time to Say Hi, ended up picking into this No Mod 3 as their opening pick, just outscoring anyone in this lobby by a solid 200k here. Very incredible performance from Time to Say Hi here, and a very solid opening pick.
Yeah. And with that, I mean, Time to Say Hi has very nicely opened up the map pool, as you said before, right? Winning this No Mod 3 opens up so many avenues on this match. In particular, because you have a ulti no mod 1, you have alternate hidden 3, and one of the free mods, I can't quite remember which one, but I do think that either the free mod 3 or 4 could be something that, time to say hi pivot into off the back of the information generated by this no mod 3.
Yeah, for sure. I think the other interesting area to talk about in this map pool is the IM, right? There is a lot of just IM in this map pool in general. I mean, it's not, a lot of no mod 1 generic IM, but it's scattered about in quite a few places here. So I'm looking to see when each of these teams wants to try and open up that IM pool to try and steal it for themselves. But before that, it looks like balner is going right into free mod 2 here, going right into the anti-mod gimmick abuse here. Maybe,
what?
Thinking that they are just going to be able to beat a team like Time to Say Hi on this gimmick here. But I mean, I am a little bit shocked that they want to do this, given that they banned out a hidden 2. It's just a bit weird to open
No. It's not weird that they're picking free mod 2. It's weird that they're picking free mod 2 having banned the hidden 2 before. I mean, it baffles me. It really does baffle me. But perhaps this free mod 2 is but it's off the fact that with free mod 2 you don't need to field 3 hidden players. You can field 2 hard rocks or 2 hidden. So maybe there's like a third player syndrome that balner is worried about on the hidden 2, leading them to ban it this time round. We'll have to see how it goes, but for what it's worth, I mean, this is a very interesting early stage game plan coming in from balner.
The thing is, like, this one doesn't really... Yeah, I guess it's just a pick that you win, but then there's not really a lot of room to go from here, to be quite honest. Like, you could play into the precision element by going something like Hard Rock 2 or DT4 even, if you want to get spicy. But, like, this free mod 2 is kind of the only map of its sort left in the pool, so maybe balner just wants to get rid of her early and just clear out the gimmick. But, like, as we've been saying, just picking this first, while banning hidden 2 is just so absurd to me. To talk more about the map itself, I mean, this is just kind of your bog standard old style sort of anti-mod. I believe it's a custom for OWC by Dada, and it just features a lot of this linear sort of pattern IM, a bunch of spaced linear streams here and there, and pretty bog standard for free mod 2, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a consistency check, which is even more funny because the hidden 2 is also similarly a low AR hidden consistency check at that. But that's it. Very standard, as you mentioned before. CS5, AR8 are going to be your map stats. So it's going to be 6.5 for the CS 6.5 for the hard rock players, and of course the AR8 hidden for the hidden players. Instantly, we're jumping straight into the action, and I think across these 2 minutes and 42 seconds, it's all going to be about your overall comfort on your respective mods. So it looks like Fudge is playing the hard rock, but the map did not flip over. Hopefully that gets fixed up, but as of right now, it stands. It does seem as though it's rather even on both fields.
Yeah, I mean, both sides, not struggling too much with this opening section here. An early break there from Mouseplayer and followed up by Jakon, actually, as we get into this first KI here. It's only responded by 1 break from Fudge, but it's still Scylla and Arrowweed both to hold for balner here, giving them that early score lead and bringing that score lead up to 100k. But just as I say that, Scylla finds that crucial miss, and A15 is still matching that full combo hold by Arrowweed.
Yeah, indeed. Score lead is currently going in favor of balner, but Arrowweed is going to find the miss, which means that 815 is now the decision maker when it comes to the scoreline, but he's not going to go far in that seat as he finds the miss going into the floating section of the map. Scylla is currently the largest combo in the lobby, but being matched up by Jakon here, it's only going to stagnate at this point. The scoreline is not moving an inch. We need to see more blood spill, and we need to see larger combos from Time to Say Hi. But as Mouseplayer, 815 and Fudge all find misses at the exact same time, still the pivotal combo still remains in the middle of the lobby, with Scylla and Jakon moving into the next KI of the map. The jumps continue to open up, and it's still a 1k score difference between both of these teams. second half of the map, there is most definitely still enough time. But where is the support coming in from Drakon or Skilla? As I say that, however, Skilla is going to find the miss, is going to drop the ball, which means that Drakon manages to strike them down, but he will not get far of that lead as we move into the last third of the map with a 160k score lead going to the hands of balner.
With no combo really on any player here, that 200k score lead is just going to stay right where it is. The highest combo is at only 150 on Arguid, and unless Time to Say Hi is able to build up these massive combos into this last quarter of the map, that 200k score lead is going absolutely nowhere. This large aim just keeps on catching people out, and no one is able to maintain any sort of combo. And at the end of the day, it does look like it's going to be balner just having that team consistency, keeping that score lead on their side the entire way through this map. I mean, A15 tried his best, but that's just incredibly unfortunate for the side of Time to Say Hi here on this free mod 2. And balner is going to be equalizing it 1-1.
That's the nature of a team tournament, right? You can't just rely on your skiller, you can't just rely on your Drakon. It's all about the entire team here, and it just seemed as though the bar was just higher for the side of balner, which really begs the question as to why did they go for hidden 2-ban? Like, this has to be BM. This has to be disrespect. There is no way. There is no way. This hidden 2 just seems like a natural pick for balner following this free mod 2, but alas, they have banned it with their own hands, meaning that that avenue of attack has been shut down. Well, if that's it, it's going to be up to Time to Say Hi to find their next pick. I definitely think that something like a Hidden 3 or even a No Mod 1 could definitely work if they are trying to play off their win on that No Mod 3.
I mean, yeah, I think given that Time to Say Hi have opened up that more control-y side of the pool, you know, we're probably expecting them to try and follow it up with more control picks. I don't know if Time to Say Hi really want to go into the aim this early. But just like I said, actually, they're going to be going with a hidden 1 pick. They do actually want to go into that aim pool. And this hidden 1, you know, is going to be a pretty good flavor of that. It's going to be, how do I feel? Like Oriental aim? Oriental aim?
Oriental aim? Oriental aim. Interesting. I mean, I think this map is like it's like a lot of fast, uncomfortable aim, but not in the sense that it's like wide angles. It's like the distance changes are extremely abrupt, especially given how consistent the tapping of the map is. The aim really doesn't reflect some of the tapping. Oh, no, the aim definitely doesn't reflect some of the rhythms that are present on a map like this, which is, I think, going to be the main point of contention on this hidden 1. And of course, the hidden is going to make being consistent on a lot of these jumps all the more difficult.
I mean, it is interesting that Time to Say Hi want to go into this hidden pool, right? I feel like, given qualifiers, I would have expected something that they just don't want to touch at all. I mean, they were down in the 30s there with the ranks there, but it seems that they do want to go into this hidden 1, which, I mean, I don't know, like, in my mind, if you want to open up the aim pool, you go for something like a free mod 1 maybe, or like a DT 1. I'm just a little bit shocked by this hidden 1 pick, to be quite honest with you. And I think if Time to Say Hi are able to secure this one, I mean, this opens up quite a lot of avenues that maybe you wouldn't expect, judging purely by qualifiers or past results alone. So I think definitely hoping that they can take this one for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely. When you say that this is a strange way to open up the aim pool, and to some extent I do agree, but I do see the value in it, right? I think they're playing off the fact that balner banned out the hidden 2, so it shows the potential weakness on the hidden side, although it wasn't quite acted upon in that free mod 2 as we saw before. But you know, perhaps they're just looking to lean on that information. And then given how this hidden 1 is not your standard mechanics heavy aim, it's more gimmicky is not the right word, it's more control-y, it's more start stops, it's more abrupt. I think this hidden 1 is a blend of the information that they got from the hidden 2 and the No Mod 3 No Mod 3 being, you know, where the control-y aspect or this bias towards control comes from. But we'll have to see if this pays off. It's going to be 1104 being the hidden one. And this map is a very, very short one, clocking in at a little under 2 minutes. So any miss, any large combo will be very, very important on a map like this. And as we will soon see, this map really doesn't let out once it gets going.
Dream catching no one off guard, everyone looking very comfortable on this hidden one. Gonna be balner taking the pretty early accuracy lead here. Time to say hi certainly struggling, and Mouse player is the first one to draw blood here. Takes the first miss, and that's going to accelerate the score lead towards the balner side, and everyone else in the lobby is just looking so solid here. These distance spacing patterns, as you mentioned, are coming in to try and trip these players up, but no one is giving an inch at all except Mouse player, who finds yet another miss.
Yeah, misses coming in from all across the screen, and instantly a score lead is going to go into the hands of balner here. Mouse player and Fudge do trade blow for blows, followed by Skilla here, and suddenly the scales have tilted towards the side of Time to Say Hi off the back of Jacon and 8:15 here. It's just gonna be a question of how far can they take this score lead. It's gonna go far, definitely, as Arguil is gonna be the next one on the chopping block, and instantly that scoreline flies towards that right side. Mouse player canceling out any sort of recovery that Fudge and Skilla can put on show. Finally goes down, but that's not who you want to see miss. If you're a fan of balner here, moving into the last quarter of the map, time is running out. It's already a 200k score lead towards the right side. I think this is going to be a very clean way to win on that this hidden one. Quite a precarious point, but I mean, at the end of the day, the results speak for themselves. 8:15 and Jacon might miss at the very end, so unfortunately not going to quite see an FC from them, but it doesn't discount from the fact that this was an incredibly clean way to secure a point.
Absolutely stellar performance here from A15 and Jacon. 200k store lead maintained throughout this map. I mean, those scores speak for themselves, and that is quite the point to win. I think opening up both the control and the aim in this sort of pool is a big advantage, especially as a lower seeded team. And I'm very excited to see how balner is going to try and respond next, because you know, Time to Say Hi, taking such a large portion of this pool so early, it's going to be interesting to see what balner decide to play into next, especially given that Free Mod 2 doesn't give them a lot of options to bounce off of.
Yeah, definitely. This is an interesting position to be in if you're a balner here, right? Your Time to Say Hi has opened up very explosively with aggressive picks such as No Mod 3 and Hidden 1. No Mod 3 being aggressive because it's an accessible control map, and Hidden 1 being aggressive because, you know, it's a very risky pick to go for a Hidden 1 that on paper should always favor balner, but it has worked out for them both times. And with that, balner is going to look to try to open up a different part of this map pool. They are going to be the first team to dabble into the tapping. It's going to be No Mod 2, 240 BPM is the name of the game of this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the only thing left in this pool, right? The tapping is the only thing that's left, and balner are just going to be going into it with this No Mod 2. As you mentioned, yeah, 240 BPM is the name of the game here, but not in the stream sense, more just in, you know, short burst sense. There are some longer, flowier bursts in this to try and trip you up, but if you can play the start of this map, you can play most of the rest of this, assuming that your stamina doesn't come to hit you. So I think this one might turn out to be quite decisive. We might be able to tell who is looking to secure it at the very start here.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, however, this is really just going to be a comfort check on 240 BPM, right? We are talking all about the tapping and how this is a tapping map, but you know, the aim element is definitely not to be dismissed. There are a lot of sections, especially in the off KIs, where you know you have very, very fast and very, very wide spacing jumps, and at 240 BPM with a few, you know, triples and with a few 5-note bursts thrown into the mix, it can really throw a wrench in your flame control and your aim as well. So you really need to be comfortable, you need to be consistent on the 240 BPM, lest, you know, these non-tapping factors catch you off guard. But here we are. Currently at this juncture of the map, it looks like, you know, both teams, interestingly enough, have very different compositions in terms of the accuracy. You have Fudge being the big 99% act on the side of balner, and then you have two lower accuracies in Skilla and Arguil. Speaking of Arguil, he's going to be the first one to go down, followed by the side of mouse player. I was just going to get to that. Time to Say Hi are packing two 99% accuracies going into this matchup, but in a matter of seconds, as I'm saying that, mouse player and Dracon has both found their misses, and they're putting all of the score onto the 94% act, the lowest accuracy in the lobby in 8-15, and unfortunately 8-15 just drops the ball here. Fudge now on the recovery with 800 combo to his name is looking to widen that score gap extremely quickly, moving into the second half of the match.
I mean, yeah, as we move into the second half here, he is just uncontested in terms of combo, sitting all the way up there at almost 1,000 combo. Finally finds a break here, but he has built up that 60k score buffer for his team, and it's just a matter of how much that Time to Say Hi can build these recovery combos up here as we move into this last third of the map. This section does get a little bit tamer, but it does ramp up significantly at the end, so it will come down to the wire here.
Yeah, and as we're saying that, right, Arguil finds a miss right before the slow section of this map. We'll see if anybody gets tripped up on these perfect overlaps. Last time I saw quite a few players. In the last match, I saw quite a few players finding a shit miss here or there, but it looks like everybody will be cruising through very, very nicely. As of right now, looking at the board state of the lobby here, mouse player, 8-15, and Dracon are all standing strong with their recoveries. And meanwhile, I mean, it's a ghost town for the side of balner, right? That scoreline has shifted towards the right side, and suddenly, you know, they are in the danger zone. Last quarter of the map, and the map begins to ramp up. This is the finger control section I was talking about. These are the wide spacing, awkward space, 240 BPM jumps with the 1/3, with the 1/5, with the 5-note burst, with the 7-note burst, all thrown into the mix. And yet, Time to Say Hi still continue to persist. They still continue to hold. I mean, balner, try as they may to bring this back, it's still not gonna be enough. Their 400 combos are not gonna be enough, but hold up. 8-15 and mouse player both find misses at basically the same time. And with that, there might still be a chance, but not with Fudge finding that miss. And with Dracon at the very end to close things out. Time to Say Hi will be taking a break point from balner.
I mean, this is just incredible stuff here from Time to Say Hi, holding those combos, those recovery combos, all the way through that second half and securing them that break point against balner. This is pretty good for them. They've opened up quite a lot in this pool. I mean, we said it on the last pick, but winning this pick just cemented that. And now they just have so much room to play around with. Balner, on paper, being such a much higher seed than Time to Say Hi, but Time to Say Hi are going to be opening this matchup 3-1.
Indeed. I mean, as you mentioned before, right, well, all bases have been covered. With these 4 picks, we've seen the gimmick side, Fremont 2, well, it's not like there's a lot of gimmick anyways, but we've seen the gimmick side being covered by the Nomod 2. We've seen aim as the skill set genre being covered by Hidden 1. We've seen flow aim being covered by Nomod 3, and now speed is off the table into the hands of Time to Say Hi of that victory on Nomod 2. So a lot of information to play around, but a lot of ambiguity as to what these teams should go for. I mean, if I were coaching both of these teams, I wouldn't know where to go for, right? I think the only thing that hasn't been touched in this pool is the Hard Rocks and the DTs. The DTs are in an awkward position because they can all sort of be attributed to, you know, speed. And given how Nomod 2 has already been covered by Time to Say Hi, I don't know if that's something that balner wants to allow through. And it looks like they are going to be banning DT3 as a result. The only thing left that we haven't seen then, is going to be the Hard Rocks. And I'm interested to see whether these teams opt to play into the Hard Rocks. I haven't really seen a lot of Hard Rocks being used this week in general. And it seems as though teams have looked to play away from the mod in general. So I'll be interested to see if they do opt to play into them.
Yeah, I mean, going into the next ban phase, I mean, yeah, we see that DT3 ban coming out from balner, and it's a matter of Time to Say Hi going with a free mod 3 ban. That's pretty surprising to me, actually. Free mod 3 being the sort of generic sort of stream flowium sort of map here. I'm surprised that they're coming out straight from Nomod 2 on a victory and deciding to ban that here. I don't know what this means.
A lot of question marks. I feel very stupid watching these players. I feel really stupid watching these players. You know, I like to think that I have a good grasp of map of like picking strategy. Like they've constantly thrown curveballs at us left, right, center.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see what Time to Say Hi end up going with next. I mean, do you have any idea why the Hard Rocks are not getting touched at all? Is it just because like they're just a bit weird and there are better options for the respective skill sets in the other pools, or what's going on there?
I could not tell you. Right? In fact, Loam, at this point, I'm still thinking that we are still in the info gathering phase, right? Because fact of the matter is, Time to Say Hi is the lower seeded team, so naturally you expect them to have a lower bar to play with, right? You're expecting balner to have the general advantage over all of these maps, which is a trend that we're just not seeing come true just yet. Perhaps it's because they're playing players down. I don't think I've seen Sharitori or Kasuria coming in for the lobby at all, but you know, the fact of the matter is balner just doesn't seem to be bringing the heat of the highest of that highest seeded presence. Oh, that's it. Speaking of the Hard Rocks that we were talking all about just now, it looks like Time to Say Hi will be looking to open up the Fog of War even further, once again gathering more information, and in fact go for a Hard Rock 2, but Fremont 2 just happened.
Huh? That's what I was saying. I'm really surprised that Time to Say Hi are going into a map that's objectively quite similar to the Fremont 2, the only map that they haven't won so far in this match. Like, this Hard Rock 2 is, you know, your standard CS 6.5 with a little bit of spacing and some circle patterns here and there. But otherwise, you know, there's so many other options that you can go for that aren't like things that we've seen in this match thus far, and would probably favor you more than a map like Hard Rock 2. So I'm just kind of shocked. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I mean,
it's a whole mess here. We're a real mess in the commentary booth here, but you know, alas, hopefully it pays off for Time to Say Hi. And I mean, for what it's worth, if this does end up going the way of balner, I mean, as an unbiased viewer, who are we to complain about giving us a show, right? But oh boy. And I think you summed it up pretty well. I think this Hard Rock 2 is rather similar to what we saw from the Fremont 2. You know, typically you see a lot of low aim Hard Rock 2s being pulled in open rank or at this SR. But you know, this Hard Rock 2 on a whole does feature, mostly features some generic Hard Rock aim. I say generic as a relative term here because, you know, we've definitely seen quite a lot of crazy maps, especially given how Nomad 1 this time around isn't even a generic Nomad 1. Hidden 1 is as crazy as ever. So, you know, this Hard Rock 2, not generic in the sense that, you know, there are some flowing elements, there are some slider heavy elements, but you know, generic in the sense that at the end of the day, it's still going to just be a blanket test of your CS 6.5 consistency. So without further ado, let's jump into the first Hard Rock map that we are going to be seeing. This match is going to be Terminal Velocity, Act 1.
Yeah, we see already kind of what this map is about, right? We saw one of those space circle patterns there, and we see another one there, trip some players off guard. Mouse player and Arguid going to be finding the early breaks for the teams, followed up by Fudge and Jackon to trade it out. And now it's just a 1v1 between Kurosira and 815. But just as I say that, 815 finds a miss for Time to Say Hi, and it is just Kurosira holding that FC for the side of balner here as we move past that first third of the map.
Yeah, indeed. Already an early lead going to be pushed into the hands of balner. Hell, I say early. It's already a third of the map through, and that lead is only going to continue to go up as 815 finds a miss. Kasuria, I mean, I was talking about him. They weren't present for the first few maps, but now he is in the lobby. Now they're in the lobby, and they are locked and loaded here. 500 combo and counting, moving into the second half of the map very, very comfortably. I mean, balner is at cruising altitude here. Kasuria finally finds the miss, but is traded up by Jackon. And I mean, if they keep trading 1-for-1 blows, that's a 300k buffer that Time to Say Hi just cannot seem to overcome here.
You know, Time to Say Hi still have a 350k score difference to make up here, and they're not even favored in the combos. Fudge and Arguid both on the incredible recovery combos finally find the miss there on that space linear stream, but it is just 815 to hold for this item. Time to say hi. Mouse player and Drakon finding miss, and as 815 finally finds another break here into this last quarter of the map, it's looking all but over as balner, having a 400k score lead on this Hard Rock 2, are just going to be taking the break point right back.
Yeah, it's so incredibly difficult, but I can't say that it was unexpected, right? balner coming out of that free mod 2 seems so incredibly confident, so it baffles me as to why Time to Say Hi would pick into the Hard Rock 2, you know, pick into the CS 6.5 that they previously lost on. Yes, of course, free mod is not entirely the same as Hard Rock 2, yes, but, you know, there comes a point where the consistency just overpowers any sort of map-specific elements or map-specific points of difficulties when it comes to throwing off both of these teams. So that's it. I do believe both teams are going to be evened out when it comes to the breakpoints, and now it's time for balner to tie up the score.
I mean, you say it's going to be tied up, but I mean, I wouldn't be so confident. Time to Say Hi has been putting up some pretty solid performances across these maps, and I just don't know what balner are going to end up following this up with, right? They don't have a lot of the pool to play around. I guess, you know, the only thing they've been consistently winning is the precision, and the only thing that's left in that sense is the DT4, so they're really going to need another angle of attack here, start to take some of that ground back from Time to Say Hi if they want to win 4 more points in this match.
Yeah, but in the meantime, I mean, I definitely think that the aforementioned DT4 could be a very good angle of attack back into the match, right? At least to tie things up. You could definitely think about how they're going to find picks moving forward after this, and I think given how they are the highest seeded team here, I wouldn't put it past them to find something in that sense. Meanwhile, of course, I will say that, you know, perhaps the Hard Rock pool could be interesting for balner to go into. That was a very decisive victory on Hard Rock 2, and I mean, you still have Hard Rock 1 and 3 still at your disposal, so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they look to double down into the Hard Rock pool, and, you know, once they do that, that's just an easy segue to guaranteeing at least a tiebreaker. But no, it looks like we're going to be seeing Machine Gold Black Glass free mod 4 being picked out for the side of balner, so not looking to play off that Hard Rock 2 victory, and instead perhaps looking to play off the free mod 2 here, going into yet another free mod pick.
I mean, both these teams are just going all over the place with their picks here. balner, I mean, none of the 3 maps they picked have really anything in common at all. This free mod 4 is going to be a blend of a lot of skill sets here. A lot of ult, a lot of tech, a lot of reading almost, a lot of rhythm, just a lot of everything hodgepodged into this neat little package of a free mod 4 here. And I mean, I guess maybe on paper, balner is probably going to do quite well on a map like this, but Time to Say Hi have shown that they are no slouch at all when it comes to the control skill set. I mean, just look at the No Mod 3. I mean, this one does play very differently, but also maybe more similarly than a lot of the other control maps in this pool. It's got a lot of, you know, overlap, a lot of density sort of stuff in this free mod 4. So I just don't know what to think about this one for balner here, really.
Yeah, definitely. I am interested to see why they went for this free mod 4 in particular. I mean, I think, you know, the free mod 2 was good information, but at the same time, right, that could also definitely be chopped up to the fact that they're just better at the CS 6.5 Hard Rock aspect. So definitely going to be banking on the Hard Rocks, I feel, for balner going into this free mod 4. And at the end of the day, this free mod 4 is definitely a very interesting one at that. This is a map by the lovely Oat Milk. A non-custom map for Res Cup, but a very commonly seen map around tournaments at this SR. And, you know, Oat Milk needs no introduction. If you are familiar with modern tournament mapping, you would definitely know Oat Milk. One of the front runners when it comes to this, to all sorts of control maps as of late, right? He's very well known for sharp angles, a lot of messy patternings with a bunch of, as you mentioned before, right, density stuff through and through. So I think going into this map, it's just going to be a question of how well these players can adapt this map to the various mods that they have chosen to pick up. I will say this map is likely more favored towards the hard rock players, given how the CS is rather big, so you know it doesn't really lower the CS by very much. But of course, the hidden players always have that added element of, you know, unclarity, disclarity when it comes to playing hidden.
Yeah, getting into the early stages of the map here, both teams have opted with just 2 hiddens and 1 hard rock here, so probably going to be looking at those hidden players to excel here. Fudge are going to be finding another break here, and it's going to be combo lead still to balner side as a mouse player find a miss to trade it out. They're going to be building up a 150k for the buffer past this first third of the map, and just these 2 hidden players are just looking so solid for the side of balner. Scylla finally breaks here, but there is just not much combo at all on the side of Time to Say Hi. 815 and mouse player both finding breaks here.
Now hold up, the miss from Sharitori is going to leave the gates open for Jakon to strike through. Fudge is trying to hold back the floodgates right now, but the scoreline is going to slowly but surely shift towards the right side. Jakon holds about 100 combo lead over Fudge. He's now just waiting for that miss to come up from the from the UK player here, right? But there's not a lot of time left on the clock. Only about a quarter of the map left, and Jakon can't afford to find any miss as Mouse Player continues to go down, continues to struggle to find any sort of combo. But down goes Fudge, and instantly that's going to give Jakon full control of the scoreline. He's racing to the very end of the map. They're trying their best to hold it back, right? Sharitori and Scylla with their recoveries, trying to bring him down, and at last, they will succeed at that. And with that, balner will be walking out of Black Glass with yet another point to their name, taking the series 3-3.
I mean, that was just, again, a lesson in the team consistency that balner has. Jakon was just looking so solid there with that massive combo, but it was only because of the recovery combos from Sharitori and Scylla that they held back those floodgates and prevented Jakon from running too far from it. And balner is just going to be taking another point in this series and taking back more of that ground, taking back this control-y techie skill set, something that they could easily go back into. And with a best of 5 on our hands, it's looking maybe not as good for Time to Say Hi as we initially thought. I mean, they did take that 3-1 lead, but balner have been able to slowly but surely take back some of the pool to their side.
I mean, I think Time to Say Hi have been playing very aggressively with all of their picks, right? You're looking at, again, a very accessible No Mod 3 pick to open up into a hidden one that's like very, very fog of war and not backed up by numbers. And then Hard Rock 2, which in itself was already super risky considering that you just lost Remod 2. And unfortunately, that gamble didn't quite pay off. So now Time to Say Hi have to pay for, you know, their risky plays now. And they won't have the same advantage that they held off the back of that No Mod 2 back when they were at 1-3. So now, I mean, it's up to them to go into their next pick. And I still have no idea what they want to go into, right? Because that control ballpark has already been reclaimed by balner here, so you know, going for something like a No Mod 4 or Hidden 3 might seem rather dicey to them. If you ask me, I'd in fact say that they might want to go for a DT pick, maybe something like a DT2, but it does look like they are instead going to go for a DT1. What are your thoughts on this, actually?
I mean, both teams have just been picking so sporadically, so this doesn't come too much as a surprise to me. This DT1, I mean, it is kind of just your bog standard DT1, right? It's your standard AR 10.3 with, you know, not a lot of, you know, 240 BPM IM is the name of the game here, and there's not much else to this map, is there, right? The IM doesn't even get super wide, even in the key eyes, apart from 1 or 2 patterns. So, you know, this one is about as standard as it gets, all things considered. And I think, if anything, you know, that's probably going to favor the likes of Time to Say Hi, right? You know, Time to Say Hi seem to do pretty well on these sort of standard maps given by their qualifiers results. You know, they got 25th on this DT1, which, you know, nothing to scoff at, but I think when it comes down to it, it's probably the thing that they're the thing that they are most closely matched in on paper against a team like Balner.
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, right, DT1 is always going to be scary because it is very, very accessible. Not Nomad 1, by the way, not to draw any comparisons to that Nomad 1. That Nomad 1 is anything but this DT1 is the accessible aid map of this pool. And probably the most accessible map in this pool, full stop. And when we talk about accessible, right, every player in the lobby is going to be able to execute this map with some level of proficiency, which means that, you know, it could definitely be quite a gamble of a pick, especially if, you know, you are time to say hi in the mid to end game of the map, going for a risky pick such as this one. But that's it. Good luck, have fun, start coming in chat. So we'll have to see if this gamble pays off. But again, a very aggressive pick coming in from time to say hi, going for a RNG gamble pick. If they win this, I mean, it clears out a lot of that pool, and you know, it means that they don't have to deal with DT1 when the stakes are taken all the way up, if you know what I mean.
I mean, to be quite honest, right, this is a fairly expected pick given that it is so accessible, right? You would expect the lower seeded teams to be trying to abuse the consistency against the higher seeded teams, but it's just a matter of how well Time to Say Hi can play this one. I mean, we're expecting all three players on Balner to be able to execute very well, and that team consistency is just going to give them that maybe slight advantage if it comes down to it. But as we get into this map, I mean, we see it's just all that consistency. I mean, we see some pretty early breaks coming from the side of Balner here. Sharitori and Arguid both finding breaks here. It's just Mouseplayer to trade it out as we get closer and closer to this first KI, where the spacing really ramps up.
Yeah, that's right. Some early misses coming in from a few players in the lobby really poses some question marks as to how well they'll be able to cope when the KI does open up. And speaking of the KI, we're jumping straight into the action. The spacing really opens up here alongside a few rather long sliders, so a few cross-screen jumps as well to throw these players off. But it looks like we are cruising altitude for both sides. A 60k lead is going to be in the hands of Time to Say Hi, but that miss from Miles player might spell otherwise that scoreline is going to slowly but surely shift towards the left side. But the accuracy isn't really there from Sharitori, which is what's keeping Time to Say Hi in the game right now. We're moving to yet another verse, and you know, we saw them miss on the verse. We saw these players miss on the verses before, so they're not quite out of the clear just yet. But as it stands, I mean, Time to Say Hi need to hope for another miss if they don't want to let this lead slip through their hands.
And just as you say that, 815, one of those massive combos for the side of Time to Say Hi falls. It is just Jaycon on his own to try and contest these massive combos from Hudge and Arguid. But as I say that, Arguid finds the miss, and it is just a 1v1 between Fudge and Jaycon as we move into this final KI here. And Fudge finds that crucial break. Jaycon is the one to hold the combo, and he's going to be taking that score lead right to his side. No other combo in this lobby contesting against him, and he is just going to be skyrocketing that score 100k and building as we move into the closing section of this map. The gamble paid off for him. Jaycon finally finds a miss, but he has done more than enough for his team to secure this point.
I mean, we call this a DT1. Jaycon just calls it another Tuesday, proving to us why, you know, he's the number 12 player, highest skill cap in the lobby by, of course, his rank. And, you know, it definitely does show a very, very phenomenal performance on this DT1. Almost having the FC, but still a 1 million score to his name. That's going to be a very nice way to win out on this DT1. A very risky pick coming here, or a comparatively risky pick here. And it did pay off. With that said, Time to Say Hi are now one step closer to that ever so fabled match point. So we're going to see if what Balner responds with. Probably a Hard Rock, I'm thinking.
It's just so hard to say. Like, the thing is, they've just been picking all over the place with their picks. None of their three picks have been the same at all. So I feel like it's just kind of hard to say what they want to go in for at this stage. I think the main things that I'd probably avoid are the generic aim, so probably stuff like the free mod 1, the hard rock 1, that sort of stuff, and also probably the tapping, since they lost the no mod 2, they banned out that DT3. So what does that leave then? I'm thinking they probably want to go back into the control, and I think it's gonna be they have what, no mod 1, no mod 4, hidden 3, hard rock 3, and maybe DT4 as well. That's quite a lot of options there. My gut is telling me something like no mod 1 or hidden 3, just because no mod 4 and hard rock 3 are more, aimy sort of control maps. So I think we're probably gonna see something that leans more into the control sort of angle here, and we're going to be getting into this no mod 1 that you've been hyping up a few times throughout this match. Tell me a little bit about this one. This one's quite spicy for a no mod 1, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, this no mod 1 is aim. Nah. I'm looking at you, Pez. Like, what are we doing here, Pez? Last match I was looking at this, I was like, oh, no mod 1, accessible aim map, yada yada yada. No, this is a 150 BPM flow alt map. It has a few tempo changes, I believe there's a 1/3 section towards the second half of the map, but across the board it's just a complete onslaught of flow aim patterns through and through for about 3 minutes long. If anything, you could call this consistency alt.
I mean, yeah, this one does have a lot of flow, but it does definitely shift into more like snappy sort of stuff by the second half, right into that 1/3 section. And it's just a matter of how well you can hold through these sections, right? These patterns are incredibly tricky to be consistent on. I mean, you start off with the flow aim streams at 150 BPM or whatever, and then you just move into more just tricky patterns, right? None of these patterns are the type of thing that is easy to be consistent on by any means. So you just need such endurance for this map, even though it is only 3 minutes long. I don't know. I think they're definitely playing into this from the free mod 4, right? It sort of features like a lot of stuff in the sense that free mod 4 also packs a lot into it, and while maybe not directly the same sort of skill sets tested, it plays sort of similarly in that sense. So I think, definitely trying to play off that free mod 4 win that balner got previously, and hopefully, I think this one does give them quite a few more angles. They could go into the hidden 3 later, and maybe stuff like hard rock 3, no mod 4 if they're feeling like it.
Yeah, and we're getting into that stage of the match where, the pool is getting smaller and smaller, and these picks will be a lot closer. These picks will be a lot closer and more contingent on the performances. But with that said, we're going into Sao Anomaly. This is a lovely custom map by Oxy. So a huge shout out to Oxy for this map. This is a 150, as mentioned before, right? This map really doesn't let up at any point. We're instantly into the action already, and the flowing patterns are coming to attack these players. Fudge is going to be the first one on the chopping block, first one to go down. It is traded up by 815, however, and with that, we're still at equilibrium.
And yeah, as Mouse Player finds a miss there, and J-Con there 4 times say hi, it is only combos on the side of balner. They're going to be taking that early score lead, as these cuts, these Axel D-cell patterns just do not trip Scylla or Arguid at all here. As Arguid finally finds a break, but it's still Scylla to hold through all his flow aim section. And meanwhile, Time to Say Hi just can't get a grasp of this map at all. Just keep finding breaks here.
Sense right now, Scylla is really the big raid boss here in this match, right? It's clear to see that no one else in the lobby can execute this map with the same level of consistency, with the same level of confidence that Scylla can. Still holding the FC, and we're only a third through. I mean, this is a 170k score lead. We're moving to a slope section of the map, and that's only going to continue to grow the momentum of the freight train that is Scylla on this no mod 1. We're moving into the 1/3 section. This is where we're expecting to see more emphasis on that snap aim, and we're gonna have to see if this tempo change trips any of these players up. It looks like Arguit is going to be the first one to fall, but there's absolutely no recovery from the side of Time to Say Hi as all 3 members fall as this 1/3 section opens up. Skilla is gonna finally find the miss, but Fudge is right beside him at his side to take that baton and continue running forward.
They're just gonna keep building that score lead to the side. It's already almost 300k now, and with no signs of any combo on the side of Time to Say Hi, it may just already be too dire here. Fudge finally finds a break, but there's just nothing on the side of Time to Say Hi to try and take this back as we move into the last third of this map, where we really start to see that snap in, that wide snap in start to come through. I mean, no one seems to be able to hold at all, but that's only going to favor balner, who has that 300k score buffer in the tank for them right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing much to be said already. It's a 300k score lead. We are currently seeing stagnation, and it's gonna take a mountain for Time to Say Hi to bring things back. Already in the last 8 of the map, and we're moving to the second section of the 1/3 ending of this map, and still, it is just not enough, right? Arguit and Skilla can miss all they want, but that scoreline is not budging an inch. And as it stands now, it looks like balner is going to be taking a very, very easy No Mod 1 pick over Time to Say Hi on this No Mod 1. And Willem, we are shaping up to see a very, very close match, as one of these teams will be hitting match point next map.
Very, very dicey situation for both teams now, taking 4 points each. We're in a best of 3, and the pool is looking as smaller than ever. I mean, we're moving into the end game now. Both teams have 1 more pick at their disposal, and I think even now, I'm not even sure what either team really wants to play into here, even though it is a last pick. They've just been picking so sporadically, so all over the place with all of their picks that it's just so hard to predict. I mean, wow. Time to Say Hi are going to be closing things off with the hidden 3 here. This is pretty shocking to me, I can't lie. Like, coming off of a No Mod 1 loss, and quite a dominant No Mod 1 loss, going into a map like this is quite crazy to me. It does have a very different feel to it, but I don't know, I just would have expected something else, maybe like a DT2 or a free mod 1 to stay in your more, generic skill set ballpark, rather than going into something as controlly as the hidden 3.
Indeed, I was convinced that this was balner's last pick, right? I mean, this hidden 3 is very similar to what we saw from the No Mod 1, and it pulls a few elements from the techiness of free mod 4 as well. So, on paper, it seemed as though balner would be the one to go in for a map like this, but perhaps Time to Say Hi are feeling confident about their hidden skill, and is in fact opting to aggressively pick this control map into balner. But that's it. However, I do still think that it is definitely not an entirely crazy pick, right? It's not like we haven't seen an analog to this hidden 3 pop up anywhere else this match. In fact, we've probably seen close analogs to everything this match, but it just strikes me as a bit shocking that, Time to Say Hi are actively choosing to pick control into balner, having lost so many control maps to them before. In fact, I don't think they've won a single hard control map since, what was it, like hidden 1, I guess? Yeah. I would have expected them to, yeah. I would have expected to see a DT2 pick coming from there, or something from the DT pool. Yeah, maybe not DT4. So either DT2 or free mod 1 for me. But alas, we're here.
Yeah. I mean, I was mentioning, right? It's just shocking that they would go into the control. I feel like the only reason that I see is that they want to play into that hidden ballpark, which the balner just haven't seemed to like a lot. But it's just hard to draw analogs when, like, this hidden 3 is more control than testing the hidden than anything. So
yeah, nothing but doubt in the booth here. Nothing but doubt. We'll have to see if it pays off, though. I feel like we've been proven wrong time and time again this entire match. That at this point we shouldn't even try. Like, we shouldn't even try. This match is erratic. It's fiery, and maybe that's the game that these two teams like to play.
Well, we'll have to see how it plays out. I mean, to talk about the Hidden 3 itself, this one does not let up pull. I think the pullers described it as Korean map flow, I think it was. Just a lot of wiggling and a lot of hidden control, a lot of wiggles, a lot of flow, a lot of just everything that clip farmers love to play here in this Hidden 3.
Indeed. Already early sections of the map, and we already, it's quite clear to see what this map is all about, right? It's all about this hidden flow aim. That's really all there is to say about it. You have some XL, decel patterns here, you have some sharp angle changes, but throughout the course of these 2 minutes and 44 seconds, it's rather consistent, all things considered. Currently at cruising altitude for both of these teams, Mouse player being the only one finding the miss. We're moving past that quarterway map. Oh wait, nope, yeah, Mouse player's miss was matched up by Sheritori, pardon me. But still, it is 2 FCs to 3 now, 2 FCs to 1 with that miss coming in from Drakon. But with Drakon, sees Mouse player going down as well. It is going to be traded up very shortly by Fudge, which is going to make things closer, but Sharitori is now going to be the win condition for these teams. The circle streams are coming to attack all of the players, and Skilla is just going to cruise right by them, being the only FC still remaining in the lobby with Sharitori right behind him to provide as much of the support as they can. The circle flowing comes yet again and finally catches Skilla out, but Sharitori now 500 combo, 600 combo now, and completely uncontested in the lobby.
There is just no combo on the side of Time to Say Hi to try and respond to this recovery combo from Sharitori. I mean, they've built up a 200k score lead, and there's just really nothing at all that Time to Say Hi can do. They just keep finding brick after brick, and meanwhile Sharitori is just cruising through all of these aim control patterns without a sweat. All 800 combo and counting into this last third of the map. Breaks all across the scene. No one else can find any sort of combo in this, but Sharitori, the only one to hold in the lobby here. 300k score lead, finally breaks here at the very end, but he has done more than enough to secure this Hidden 3 for his team here. I mean, this ending section just won't shift at all.
Indeed. This Hidden 3 just refuses to budge, and it's just such an easy pick for balner to win. That's gonna be a break point going into their hands, and I mean, Woam, it's dangerous. We are in the danger zone now. balner is now threatening the match with their very own pick in hand now. We saw Time to Say Hi take that first breakpoint advantage over balner all the way back when the match was 1-3. And now in a reversal of scenario, balner is in fact going to be pressing a knife against Time to Say Hi, threatening to end their run right here, right now.
I mean, this is just an incredibly dangerous spot for Time to Say Hi, right? You are at the mercy of balner's final pick here, and, on paper, they should be favored on a lot of the pool remaining, just given the SR, and given that they have the momentum going into this last pick there. It's just a matter of what do they want to go for here. And, I think for me, I'm looking at something like a Hard Rock 3 or a No Mod 4. I mean, I think the control seems to have worked pretty well for balner here. They've just been winning quite dominantly on all of these maps, right? No Mod 1, Hidden 3, all being very, very dominant wins thanks to some incredible pop performances from the select players on balner here. So, I'm thinking something like a Hard Rock 3 or No Mod 4, but I don't know, they've just been so sporadic that I don't know what to predict anymore.
I really think that this is one of those scenarios where we just have to wait and see. I love throwing in analysis at these players. I love trying to pick their brain, but at the end of the day, there's really not anything hard that I can pinpoint, right? These players have just been winning points everywhere across the map. I don't think balner wants to go for a tapping pick, given how they lost on the No Mod 2 and they don't really bring tapping players. I could see them going in for a hard rock angle, but it does seem as though they will be going for the No Mod 4, and I think this was the most rational option. This is the guess that I would have gone for if I had to choose one, right? This plays off the information that they generated off the back of that free mod 4. And, you know, it's a control map, which they have seen to perform very, very well on. This No Mod 4, however, is nothing like we've seen thus far in this pool. This is hard tech. The map background should tell you enough.
I mean, yeah, this is a Holgo map coming straight from OWC 25 qualifiers, and it really packs a punch in that middle section here. Just loads of these messy, high-velocity sliders that require a lot of control to be able to aim consistently, right? It's one of those maps where I'm assuming a lot of people are going to be just straight up avoiding slider ends, given how difficult they are to hit consistently. And I'm not surprised that balner is going for a pick like this, although I have to say I'm a little bit worried about how this one might play out. It's just so volatile of a map, right? Slider aim is just one of those really volatile skill sets that's quite hard to be consistent on, and it's just something we haven't seen that much of in this map thus far. We really haven't seen anything like this hard slider aim skill set in this match.
Yeah, indeed, and this is really the fog of war skill set. We can draw analogs to, you know, the bevy of alt maps, the bevy of flow aim control maps that we've seen thus far, but really none play like the slider hell, the Helgo slider hell that is this No Mod 4. To speak a little bit about the map, I mean, the mapper, the background speaks for itself. Helgo, known classically as one of the greatest, one of the greatest tech mappers, known for explosive sliders, very, very unique slider patterns, and, you know, mapping in a style that, you know, very few people have been able to replicate even today. And I think this map is no exception at that. You are going to expect to see a whole range of slider patterns that you've likely never seen before if you've never seen this map. And of course, the density is going to be the main point of contention at that. Not just in the patterns, but in the rhythms as well, as these sliders love to force your fingers to hold for longer than it feels comfortable for yourself here. But with that said, good luck, have fun, so coming in chat. We stand on the precipice of what could be a tiebreaker as we're moving into the final pick of this quarterfinals losers bracket match. And at the end of these 2 minutes and 21 seconds, we are either going to Aberrant Destructor or it's bye-bye for Time to Say Hi.
Time to Say Hi have done incredibly well as the lower seeded team to make it this far, bringing seed 5 all the way to 5-4 here, but this map is going to decide their fate, and I mean, you put it perfectly. We will just have to see how this one turns out. Early section here, this one should not trip anyone up, but once we get into those sliders right now, it's going to be a breaks all across the screen.
Yeah, as you say that, right, breaks do come through. Arguil and Maltair is going to be the first ones to draw first blood for both of their teams. Fudge is going to be the next one on the topping block here, and leaving Skiller on his lonesome to fend off against Drakon and 815. Skiller does outlive Drakon here, however, Drakon continues to find misses, but you're looking at complete accuracy drops from all across the lobby. But it seems as though Skiller's 500 combo FC is doing wonders in holding 815 back, zoning him out of the sight here, and forcing them on the back foot. Arguil and Fudge being given the time, the space needed to build up those recoveries, where the support coming in from Time to Say Hi just can't seem to get anything going here. Mouse player Drakon tries, they may, but it's already the second half of the map, and it's a 200k scoreline going in favor of balner here.
Just this team consistency from the side of balner that's keeping them in such a dominant lead here as we get into this last set of the map. Scylla holding the FC, Arguil on the recovery to back them up, and really, Time to Say Hi just does not have anything at all to contest this team performance here. All three, unfortunately, finding breaks here, and as we map, and this match is all but secured for the side of balner here.
It was a very, very well fought battle from Time to Say Hi, but at the end of the day, it just was not enough to go the distance. balner, off the back of a very precarious victory, considering that this is a more than a 10 seed difference between both of these teams, will be going 6-4, winning 6-4 against Time to Say Hi. Probably a lot closer than they would have liked, but still, a win is a win, and they will live to see another round of Resurrection Cup 2026. Oh my goodness, William, there were so many ways that this match could have gone wrong. I like to think that, you know, we've been completely and utterly shocked by both of these teams, and if anything, the picking strategy coming from both of these teams were probably more exciting than the gameplay itself.
So yeah, I mean, these two teams just went all over the place, and really just we just didn't know where they were going at all at any point in this match, even at the very end, right? So I'm very excited to see how balner progress, and we get to see more of this crazy picking strategy from their side. But congratulations to balner, they will be advancing in the losers bracket to face seed 11 next week. So stay tuned for that. But I mean, that's all for me.
Yep, indeed, William. I think we've been treated to quite the match this time around. I do believe on the is it the A stream? I do think on the side of the A stream they are still going. That's the matchup between Mr. Beast Money and Nibombo. Two very interesting names. Oh, okay. Okay, well, we're ended. Epic. Where are they? What are they doing? What are we doing? What am I doing?
Yo, I'm washed, bro.
Yo, I'm washed. I'm washed.